Hello everyone and welcome. One of the reasons I created this course, to ArtNote or not to ArtNote, is because I know picture book authors always have so many questions about ArtNotes. How to use them, whether to use them, how to format, are they going to enhance or diminish your story? If you use them, will it reduce your chances of publication, and so on? These are important questions and ones that I get asked so often, I finally decided to put all the answers into one place. First, a quick primer on what illustration notes actually are. These are notes, typically bracketed, in a manuscript that will describe something, usually action, i.e. something that's happening, not descriptive like he wore a green shirt. And this is key. It's something that is not included in the text. And this action or indication in the art note must be illustrated in order for the story to be understood. So that's also key. It's not just something that you want to see happen in the book. It's something that if you were reading this story without this note, you wouldn't understand it. There's a key action or key plot element or key understanding about this character that we would be blind to without this note. An art note is a description or suggestion of what an author envisions at a certain point in the story. Remember, just because you put an art note in your manuscript doesn't mean it's going to be implemented that way. So you should always think of your art notes as somewhat suggestive. It is giving your vision, but with the understanding that there are different ways to interpret a vision, and the illustrator might have a different one. In some cases, the illustrator's vision may be even better than yours, or just different in that it adds something more than you could have ever expected. And this is the beauty of picture books, that they really are a perfect marriage between the text and the art, and they both do a lot of heavy lifting in the storytelling. Typically, illustration notes are used by authors who are not also illustrators. Illustration notes are not included in the total word count of the manuscript. This is a common question. Sometimes I think that's why authors believe they can go crazy with illustration notes, especially as a way to keep their word counts down. But remember the first point on this slide. They should be limited to things that are not included in the text and must be illustrated in order for the story to be understood. So now we know what illustration notes are, but what is their purpose? We covered that a little bit already, but let's drill down a little more. Art notes enable authors to convey complex visual aspects of their stories. In picture books, sometimes, many things will have taken place in a page turn that we don't even see. That means quite a few logistics that are left up to the illustrator. And it's important that they have that critical information if it's not clear in the text already. Like, this character has to turn from a frog into a horse, or whatever. Now, you're not going to describe how that transformation happens. The note says what needs to happen in the story without specifying how. So what do we mean by complex visual aspects? An obvious one is when there's a contradiction between the art and the text. Art notes can also be used to convey plot points, plot twists, and surprises. I know I often want to have a surprise or a plot twist in the manuscript be a visual one, where you turn a page and it's like, bam, something you're not expecting. So that's a good use of an art note. You may also want art notes to indicate wordless spreads. A lot of the art of writing picture books is in pacing, and you may notice sometimes, for instance, if you think of Where the Wild Things Are, where the wild rumpus is happening, and there's no text. Now, Maurice Sendak was obviously both the author and the illustrator, so he didn't have to say, wordless spread, Max and Wild Things having rumpus. But if you were an author writing that manuscript, you might want to have that note because you want to indicate that there should be a rest period or a pause where we're just getting a second to stop and focus on the visual aspect of the story.
I hope you've enjoyed this free excerpt of the course To ArtNote or Not to ArtNote. I want to just take a quick moment to tell you what else is covered in the course. First of all, we continue on the purpose of ArtNotes. There are a few more than what was covered in this preview. Then we go back to the basics and we talk about what is the function of text in picture books versus what is the function of illustrations in picture books, because you can't really understand art notes unless you understand those two things. We talk about the different types of art notes. When I was creating the course, I went to ask editors, agents, and illustrators what they had to say about art notes, and I share that feedback in the course. What makes this course so unique is I got 7 original manuscripts that went on to become published books. And in the course, we take a deep dive and do thorough analysis into the art notes that were used in the manuscripts. Were those art notes used in the final book? How were they used or how were they not used? How were they formatted? Were they necessary? So you'll be able to see how published authors have used art notes to success. Then we'll talk about the overall lessons that we learned from all the examples. We talk about how to format art notes, always a big question. And last, but perhaps most importantly, how do you know if you need art notes or not? I have a special opportunity for those of you who would like to join the course in the next couple of days. I'll be doing a live Q&A on October 23rd. It will be available for all course students. That means if you sign up now, you'll be able to join us. And if you can't come live, it will all be recorded and shared in the course curriculum afterward. It will take place at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific time. If you join the course between now and then, you will get $20 off. Here is the link that you'll want to use, or you can wait and get redirected at the end of the video. Also on the live Q&A, in addition to answering general questions about art notes, I will answer participants' questions about their own art notes in their manuscripts. And I'll be including a short bonus lesson on how you can use art notes as a revision tool in your own writing. I would love it if you would sign up for the course, get the $20 discount, join us for the live Q&A, and hopefully never ever have questions about whether to art note or not to art note again.